Alright, today's lesson is chapter 2.9 based off of what I know we've got today and tomorrow's lessons. Then you're going to be preparing for a test. Today is going to introduce us to percents, and then tomorrow is actually going to do something else with percents, so make sure you understand it. It is a very short lesson, but it's important for your understanding of how to work out different types of percent problems. Your essential question is, what is a percentage and how does it fit into what we've learned already? You'll learn really what a percentage is, but just know that the word percent literally means per 100, because if you think about the word century, that stands for 100 years, and so per cent would be per 100. And so whenever you look at the value of 43%, it pretty much just means 43 per 100, so it's 43 per 100. 9% as a fraction would just be 9 per 100. That is where your conversion comes in, because 43 hundredths is written as 0.43, which is where they showed you to move the decimal, and 9% is written as 0, or 9 hundredths is written as 0.09, which again is where your conversion comes from later on. In terms of what we've seen, there are two ways to work out percent problems. You need to make sure you pay attention to each one and know which one is most effective for the moment. I think if you practice right, you'll be able to do it. You just got to make sure that you, again, pay attention to what's going on and try to catch on to which one is which. The first type of problem deals with parts of a whole. You'll be given a percentage of a population and asked to figure out the missing portion. Just remember, when you're using a proportion, the fraction is set up as the whole goes on the bottom. That would be your 100, and this is your part. So in terms of that per 100, yeah, but in terms of the part that they give you, or the information they give you, the part of the portion of the group goes here, the number of the whole group here goes here. And so to solve this type, simply set the percentage equivalent to whatever information you have as you create your proportion. So for example, 24 males in the class, 80% of the class is male. How many students are in the class? This right here, 80% of course can turn into 80 over 100 equals, and again, now you have part over the whole. Well, there are 24 males in class. This is not the whole piece. This is a part of the whole class, which means 24 males should go here, which means the whole class goes here, and so you use your proportions to solve it. So you do your 80x equals 2400. You divide by 80. You find out that there are 30 people in the whole class, and again 80% of that, and you can check that out. 80% of 30 which gives you your 24 and tells you that everything is right. So again, the key thing here is 80% gave me my first part of the proportion. 24 males in a class, 24 males represented a part, so that 24 went up here. The whole class is what I'm looking for, and so that's why my X went there. Your second example, there are 25 students in a class. If 60% of the class is female, how many females are in the class? So again, you have your percentage here, 60%, which is 60 over 100. You have 25 students in a class, and you want the number of females. This would be a part of the class, and again, this is the whole class, which means your 25 in that case should go here, and you're looking for a portion of the class that is there. Again, 60% of the class is female, that's fine, but again, 25 students in the class represents the whole part, and so we end up with whatever 60 times 25 is, which is 1500, equals 100x. We divide by 100 and end up with 15 for my answer of x. And again, you can check that to see 60%, 0.60 times 25 students, and see that 60% of that is 15. Alright, so whenever you see that, just make sure you ask yourself, is this number the part or the whole part of the whole of the class, and that'll help you kind of get your proportion set up. The second type of percentage problem is worked out best by translating the statement like we did in the first chapter in the algebraic equation. Just remember three key points. Of means times, is means equals, and when you see the word what, it pretty much means x. It's kind of like a number back in chapter 1, and then you just pretty much use algebra to solve the problem. Some quick examples on that of what you would see. You might see something that says what percent of 80 is 12, and again, what percent means I am looking for a percentage. I would put a x. of means times, 80 is, which means equals, and 12 goes over here. Again, what percent of times 80 is 12? And from there you simply solve. And so now that you have your x times 80, of course, if you want to get the 80 away from x, you would divide. And so you do 12 divided by 80, which is 0.15. The key thing here is that you want to know what percentage it is. And remember, I told you about the converting. 0.15 represents a hundredth, so you got to convert that to be 15% as it is. Alright, that's about the only trick problem on there that you have to look out for. But again, in terms of that, when it says what percent and you get your decimal there, you got to convert it back into a percentage the way it is. Second example that you're going to see, or second type of problem you're going to see, what is 35% of 20? Again, what turns into x, is turns into equals. 35% you've got to write as 0.35. Remember, that's how we convert it, by moving the decimal. Of means times, 20 goes here. You'll notice in this problem that you don't have to do anything but multiply 0.35 times 20. And end up with 7. So some of them are easy, some of them take a little bit of work, but again, translate it. What turned into x equals 0.35 times 20. And then your last example here, 45 is 20% of what number? Again, 45 is 20%, again 0.20 of, which means times what number means x. Again, if you want to get x by itself, you must divide by whatever is attached to it, which is your 0.20, and you get the answer of 225 equals x. And again, just to verify that, what is 20% of 225? And you see you get the answer of 45. So looking at that, that's what tells you everything you need. Again, you've got the two types. You've got the one where you got to set it up like a proportion using the part of the whole, and you've got the other one where you simply translate it and solve using algebra. The final thought on this is that this problem can be tricky depending on how well you work to remember each type. With the test coming up soon, just make sure you're efficient with the material so you're ready when it pops up in a few days. So get some practice, study your notes, and make sure you're remembering some of the old things, because again, your test is coming up and you need to have everything ready at the end of this week. Other than that, good luck.